Alright, let's look at the area approximation method. Alright, let's say you have a very small backyard or something like that. Then you want to buy seed for your backyard. And it's got the three sides nice and straight and square. But the one side, maybe because of the garden, you have a kind of curved side. Right? And we want to approximate the area of this small grass area. Right? So there are three methods I'm going to introduce. One is a left sum, and the second one is a right sum, and the third one is a midpoint sum. Right? So this is what we're going to do. Right? Since we don't have an area formula for this shaped region, but we can find the area of a rectangle pretty easily. Base times height will get you the area. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop this area into equal with pieces, then pretend that they are rectangles. All right. So this is 8 feet wide. So we chop that into four equal distance regions. Then left sum. What we're going to do is we're going to use the left endpoint. So for example, the first one, we look at the left endpoint, which is this guy, and I'm going to use that to determine the height of the rectangle. So it's going to look like that. So we have a region which looks like this. So this is a rectangular region, right? And we can easily find the area of this rectangular region. So I'm going to call this guy left sum, so L sub 4. So 4 indicates the number of rectangles, right? So this is going to be equal to, right? So height of rectangle in this case is 5. Then I'm going to multiply by the width. Width is always 2, so I'll pull that out so that I don't have to write many times. Alright, for the second rectangle, you can see that the left endpoint, so I'm going to use that to draw a rectangle, which is a pretty good fit. And this is the second approximating rectangle. Alright, so that has a height 7, so I'm going to do a plus 7 times 2. Alright, and third one is the same way. We're going to use the left endpoint and determine the height, and missing a little bit, but this is an approximation. So we have the third rectangle looks like that, and so this is going to be again 7 times 2, right? And the last one, left endpoint, and here is the rectangle. So the height is going to be 8. Again, the width is going to be 2, so we have 8 times 2 would give you the area. So this comes out to be, I think it came out to be 54. So this is the approximation. So this is 54 square feet, right? So this is the approximation for the area, right? And you notice that there is no reason you have to use the left endpoint. You can of course use the right endpoint. So that one is called the right sum. Right? So process is the same, except that we're going to actually pick the right endpoint to determine the height. Right? Then it's going to look kind of messy, but I'll just shade it like this. All right. And use the right endpoint to determine the height. So that's going to be the second one. I'm going to go ahead and do all 4 first. And here we're going to use the left endpoint, so it's going to be a little bit taller than before. Alright, so here's going to be a third rectangle. Alright, last one using that. So height is 10, and this is the approximating rectangle. Alright, so what we're going to do is notation is the same, so it's a right sum, so it's going to be R, and the sub 4 because there are 4 approximating rectangles. Alright, then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add all those heights together. So it's going to be first one is 7, and the second one is also 7, and the third one is 8, and the fourth one is 10, and times width is always 2 here. All right, so this comes out to be about it's exactly 64 square feet, right, which is the approximation for the area, right? And it looks like left sum seems to be an underestimate, maybe because missing some of the regions, and the right sum is a little extra, so it's probably an overestimate here. Alright, there's a third one, so instead of using the left one or a right endpoint, we're going to use the midpoint. So what we're going to do is, it's kind of hard to see at this point, it's really messy, but each region, you look at the height right in the middle, right? So you can see that here is the height, right? Then you determine the height there. So I'm going to just draw the height there. So here is around here, so it's going to be the same. Actually, I didn't put those numbers. So this is maybe 7 there, and maybe this is 7.5 there, and last one maybe here's 9 there. All right. So midpoint sum or midpoint rule, some of the books call it midpoint rule. All right, so first one, height is going to be 6. Second one, height is 7. Third one, height is 7.5. And the last one, height is 9. And width is, again, 2, which came out to be 59 square feet. Right? This is another approximation for the area. Right? So you notice that this is not the exact area, just these are approximations. But for the purpose of buying seed, this might be sufficient. All right. So these are called the left sum, right sum, and midpoint sum. And if you want better accuracy, what you can do is you can have a more approximating rectangle. So you maybe, let's say you split into 6, 8 approximating rectangles. Then each of these approximation will give you a number that is closer to the actual area. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.